The Raptors enter yet another offseason in pursuit of their next star, and some NBA analysts have deemed that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the perfect man to fill the void within the team, but getting a trade done is easier said than done. So in this video, we're going to look at how Masai Ujiri can make this trade happen and bring Shai Gilgeous-Alexander back home to Toronto. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody to Amateur Sports. This is the channel where you get NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors at least 4 days a week. That is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So this is your Friday episode where we are talking about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander coming to potentially the Toronto Raptors. So if you like what you see from today's video and you want more of myself talking about the NBA and the Raptors and videos and content just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below to show support to the channel on our road to 5,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for all the great support that has been coming on the channel. Let's keep the good times rolling. But let's get down to the content for today. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, many NBA analysts, especially Toronto Raptors analysts, obviously have suggested that this player is the perfect fit for the Toronto Raptors in a situation where maybe we need that star still, and maybe that the 4th overall pick won't quite cut it, but why not trade that 4th overall pick and potentially land a star, a future superstar, I would say, in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, coming off of by far the best season of his career in his 3rd season. The 6'6" guard, the combo guard, averaged over 23 points per game on 50, 40, 80 shooting. Those stats right there are hugely impressive. Going on with about 6 assists per game and 5 rebounds per game. This is a specimen at 22 years old. This is a phenomenal player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and would completely change the Toronto Raptors organization. But why would OKC have any interest in trading him? And maybe they don't have any interest in trading him, but the thought process that goes along with these trade rumors is that OKC have stacked up enough picks where Sam Presti can start an elementary school with all the kids who are bound to eventually be an Oklahoma City Thunder player. So their timeline is a little bit off when it comes to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because he's getting really good and he's going to be really good really soon. But the timeline for OKC is that they're probably just starting a rebuild. They are probably at the start of that rebuild, and it was all about, tanking this season. Obviously, they rested Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for a lot of the games in order to tank and get better pick coming into the season. But with the pick coming in, there is a long road ahead to get OKC back to a contender status. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, somebody who they're going to have to be paying very soon after the rookie deal, maybe they're going to look to want to trade him and continue that rebuild and just really commit to it because he's going to get too good too early. He's going to be far too good for this Oklahoma City Thunder team. So maybe moving him right now would be the best case before you have to give him a big payday, and that's probably a harder player to move when you have to give away that big payday. Plus, when you have to give away the big payday and you pay him and you still want to trade him because you're not really good enough to hold on to a player of his caliber, you have to take salary back coming the other way. It's just easier for Oklahoma to build up on those picks that they want and those young players that they want by moving Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But maybe they want to trade him, but we're speculating in the case that if they do, and if they do, the first mock trade that we have here regarding what Masai Ujiri would send to Sam Presti in order to bring in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the biggest piece is that 4th overall pick. So straight up 4th overall pick for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, Oklahoma City Thunder fans, if you're watching this, just stop typing that comment, that evil comment that you're drawing up. This would never go through. And this, we're just proposing it because these are the rumors that we're seeing. This would never go through. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is worth much more than that 4th overall pick. We're likely going to be bringing in somebody like Evan Mobley or Jalen Suggs based on the most recent rumors. So that's probably not worth Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just because there's a lot of uncertainty about that pick. You can't guarantee how good they're going to be. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is already basically a star. I think he'd be an all-star next season. He's only like 22, 23 years old, so that would not go through. But how about we make it interesting for the Thunder? How about we make it very interesting by giving you that 4th overall pick plus OG Anunoby. Now, this is something that I would be very reluctant to do. This would be a big reluctance for me. I understand what it could bring for us, but OG Anunoby, 23 years old, also a very young player, and I would say that he is quite untouchable. Now, untouchable is kind of a loose word. I say untouchable in the sense, I really don't want to trade him, but everything has their price. Everybody has their price. And I would say, and most of you guys would agree based on what we've done with our community polls in the past, that OG Anunoby is the most untouchable player on the Toronto Raptors. So it'd be very difficult for me to part with him, as well as that 4th overall pick, because let's bring in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, for example. Let's say we do this. And also, I'd like to mention that OKC probably wouldn't even do this trade here. I'd just like to say that if we made this trade, I think that we lose that small forward, which we do not have cover for. We simply don't have a good backup small forward to bring into the system instead of OG Anunoby. We wouldn't have that pick, but we would have a very good, probably all-star guard in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing with Fred VanVleet. We'd have to figure something out at the 3. We'd have Pascal Siakam, and we have to figure out something out at the 5. Maybe we bring back Kem Birch. Maybe we go for a free agent center, but that money in free agency now has to go towards a small forward. So, you're bringing in a great player. Obviously, talent, you figure it out. You get your talent, then you figure it out. But I think we're giving away a little bit too much talent here, because I feel like the parts that we need are obviously the guards and in the center position. We need a guard and we need a center. We need a guard to play with Fred VanVleet, especially if Kyle Lowry does leave. I don't think Gary Trent is quite ready to fill that role. And even if he is, we bring in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and you could maybe slide Gary Trent to the 3, though I don't think that position is best suited for him. So it's a bit of a difficult situation when you do that, but I understand you bring in talent and then you work around everything else. But I just think that I would much rather have whoever we draft, whether it be Jalen Suggs, Evan Mobley, or Jalen Green, you just fill in the void there, and you still have OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam as your formidable wing duo. You've got Siakam at the 4, OG at the 3, Fred VanVleet in either the 1 or 2. You either bring in, I would say we're likely going to get Jalen Suggs, put him at point guard, and then you bring in a new center, or you just bring back Kem Birch. I would say try to go for somebody else, but you have your center there. There is flexibility in the center position, whereas in the guard position, there isn't quite that flexibility. You could also spin it to, if we get Evan Mobley, put him at center, maybe we bring back Kyle Lowry, maybe we start Gary Trent Jr. in the shooting guard position in that scenario. But I think that is tempting. OG and the 4th overall pick for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, though I think that OKC still don't take this one. So let's go even further. Let's dive further into this. So now we're looking at OG Anunoby, the 4th overall pick, and a 2022 first-round pick. Now, this, I think, would be very enticing to the Oklahoma City Thunder. You know how much they like their pick. I think this would significantly accelerate the process of the rebuild by having 2 lottery picks this year, plus having a good pick for next season. I think the Raptors will just be able to commit to trading away that, because if they're making this trade, then I think there is the assumption that they're going to be good back in the playoffs. So they can afford to miss out on that 2022 first-round pick. I think that this is something that Oklahoma City could absolutely live with. And Raptors fans, I think there's a lot of people watching this video probably thinking they would do OG in the 4th for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But what about if you have to add in that extra pick to really convince Oklahoma City Thunder? And this is something that Oklahoma City, I think, might agree to. But Raptors fans like myself are going to have that huge reluctance to trade OG Anunoby. Again, I said, he's probably the most untouchable player that we have within our system. Do we really want to be seeking a trade to get rid of him and have a huge void in that position? Because I feel like the draft is going to help us fill the void that Kyle Lowry might leave, and also it could help us fill the void in the center position if Evan Mobley does fall to us. So I'm not sure this is the best course of action. I would really, really like to hang on to OG Anunoby. But let's go even further. Let's try it a little bit different. What if we can make a trade happen where we eliminate the possibility of trading OG Anunoby? So we trade away the 4th overall pick plus the 2022 first-round pick and the 2024 first-round pick from the Raptors. So 3 first-round picks, possibly salary filler in this scenario. You could get it through a $3 million guarantee for Aaron Baines. Just salary filler in some way just for OKC to be able to balance out the books, leave the NBA happy. But basically, the trade would be 3 first-round picks, one of those being the 4th overall pick this upcoming year. I think that this is something that could be enticing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm not quite sure they would take it. I'm not an Oklahoma City fan. If you are, you can let me know how much of an idiot I am with this trade scenario. This is what I'm seeing. This is the buzz going around Raptors media at the moment, these sort of situations. I'm not sure about OKC, but I think I would absolutely make this trade happen here. If we have to add in a little bit of a sweetener to get this one done, I would say go for it. I would absolutely say go for it because the Raptors could put together an absolutely outstanding team of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the point guard position, Fred VanVleet, the shooting guard position. You know, they're basically both point guards, so you could rotate that. The size of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will certainly make up for the lack of Fred VanVleet standing at only 6 feet tall. You still have OG Anunoby at the 3, ascending at 23 years old, ascending into a star, I would say, to slowly getting better every single season. Siakam is your former All-Star, your former All-NBA second-team player. That can be probably your second option to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who averaged nearly 24 points per game this season. You're rounded off with a solid center to lock down the paint. That makes a lot of sense for me. If we can keep OG Anunoby and we can make a trade happen, then I would absolutely go for it. But if we have to get rid of OG Anunoby, I think I would have a very big reluctance to do so. The bottom line of this entire trade scenario is that it probably doesn't work and it probably does not make sense unless OG Anunoby is involved. OKC probably won't commit to all these picks without a really good player coming back the other way. The Raptors probably going to have a reluctance to trade OG Anunoby. And for that reason, this trade does not make sense. I don't think there's going to be a way to balance it out for both teams to walk away happy. And I'm sure there's Oklahoma City fans who are just completely set on keeping this player. I've seen the buzz media. They have this astronomical value set for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I can completely understand why. They want to build around him. The rebuild is for him to make him that number one player. The LA Clippers seriously made a mistake by trading him, but again, bottom line, this trade really isn't going to happen. It won't happen unless something completely crazy happens, so we're going to leave it at that. This will not happen. So what do you guys make of the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to Raptors trade rumors? Do you think that something could happen? Would you take any of the trades that I described in this video? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, because that wraps it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still here, be sure to hit that like button. If you did enjoy the video at any point, really goes a long way to helping us reach some new viewers for the channel. You can follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/amateursports. We watch on a ton of NBA playoff games. We also do some video game content, which we will do more of in the off season. Plus, we're going to keep the NBA content rolling even in the off season. Subscribe to the channel. On a road to 5,000 subscribers. You can help us get there by subscribing. We're getting really close to that. Once we hit 5,000, I will shave my head again, so you can see that if you help out with the process. Some other videos by the channel you may enjoy, and always remember, at the end of the day, believe what I say, and if you disagree, that is okay. Enjoy the grind. I'll see you again next time for another video.